Former Argentinian President Cristina Fernández has left Mauricio Macri and his team with quite an economic mess to clean up. Joining me to discuss is Jonas Rama, Senior Consultant at Barral M Jorge Associates. Now, Goldman Sachs have said that Argentina's budget deficit will reach 7.1% this year, and it is partly to blame for the country's soaring inflation and overvalued peso. So let's first take a look at the budget deficit. Do you agree with Goldman Sachs' estimates?
It's hard to pin down any precise figure for the Argentinian national accounts at this point, not only because of the unfortunate lack of transparency on official figures in the last years, but mainly because of President Cristina Fernández's last package of measures that were released right prior to her exit to office. So for the consolidated January-November budget deficit, local analysts' estimates are around even up to 8% of GDP. So Goldman's figures at this point seems correct on that, but we are not sure. We'll have to wait until the end of the year to see, but it's probably going to be above 7%, and if not more. And on top of that, the fiscal mess that the new president finds himself into, there is indeed troubles with the formulation of a new and efficient monetary policy, as you mentioned.
Mr. Macri has announced plans to lift export taxes on agricultural products. Exporters are now pressing for a cheaper local currency. Do you think the central bank will move to devalue the peso anytime soon?
Absolutely, but timing for the devaluation will be key to the success of the government's economic policies. There is no doubt that the Argentinian peso will have to go through a devaluation, maybe close to even 50% of its face value. However, it has to be done with prudency, otherwise a few variables may get out of control. In my opinion, it would be wise to increase and officially state the levels of foreign currency reserves, which today is also a big question mark, before any adjustment of the exchange rate. At this point, all that's known is that the national reserves has dropped below $25 billion, and while the net reserves may be just as little as $1 billion, so they have to work on that. And any hastily devaluation could lead the peso to overshoot and its value get out of control, and brings the risk of spiraling inflation. And if inflation accelerates, then in a few months the currency may need another devaluation. Then something has to be done, but it's not clear when. I think they have to work on the reserves first, and then to start gradually having devaluations of the Argentinian peso. And the lifting of export taxes on corn and wheat that has been announced, and the reduction of 5% on the tax of exports of soy, are all aimed at boosting exports of these commodities and assist the government to accumulate foreign reserves as the exports of these main commodities pick up. So we'll have to wait a little bit. I mean, it's a matter of time, otherwise things could get even messier.
What will be the main challenges for Mr. Macri, and do you think 2016 will be the beginning of a new start for Argentina, or is there still a long road ahead?
2016 may as well be the beginning of a new start for Argentina, but there's certainly a long road ahead anyway. There are many necessary cautions in order to put an economic package that brings the economy back on track and with a solid growth record. As you have asked, the devaluation question is crucial. One very important element would be the bargaining of wages, for instance, with the very powerful labor unions in Argentina. After all these years of having wage increase above 20-30%, it will be a challenge for this new government to convince these unions to do otherwise and to bargain in a different fashion. And the situation can get critical if the government is not able to curb the inflation with gradual devaluation of the Argentinian peso. The final challenge will also be passing necessary legislation without having the majority base in Congress. We have to remember that Macri, the new president, is a newcomer in Argentinian politics to the national level. He hasn't held any national office up to this point, so his political skills and that of his close ministers will all be put to test very soon. So there's challenges, but I think they can do a good job. I mean, he has some people with him that has been in the government before, and they have done a good job in handling difficult situations. So if they're cautious enough and they choose the right path, they will certainly be the beginning of a new era.
Jonas, great to speak with you. Well, that is all for the moment from me, Louise McCauley. It's goodbye.